Hey everyone, it's Thursday, August 31st, which means not just the last day of the week for this show and the best day of the week, in my opinion, but also the start of a new month tomorrow. So, and 3 day weekend, followed by, of course, always 4 day week. Just perfect storm going on right now, as far as the days go, which is always important content for the start of the show. While I'm waiting for Doug to get in Instagram. Anyway, here we go. Got some good stuff today. Interesting day. Not a whole lot of breaking plant-based news or anything like that, but we got some good articles to discuss. Should be fun. And Thursday's always a good show and a good day, so I'm excited. All right, Doug is here. How's it going, Doug?
Did I mishear you, Matt, or did you say we're going into a 4-day weekend?
No, I think it's a 3-day weekend. I think it's a 3-day weekend followed by 4-day week. I think.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
As they always are.
I was gonna say maybe we got a day off that I don't know about.
Yeah.
No.
I also should acknowledge that I did not put the podcast up until this morning, which means 2 days in a row I didn't. But I kind of felt like it was okay. Like I put one up yesterday, so then I was ready to do it yesterday. I was like, it'll be too soon to have. So now I'm just like a day behind. So I'm gonna do that for tomorrow as well, or today. Do it tomorrow morning. I don't know.
Keep people on their toes, you know.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Well, happy Thursday, man. Happy Thursday. How's it going? What'd you have for dinner last night?
Last night for dinner, we considered doing takeout, but I hate doing takeout. I hate it. It seems like a cop out. Like if you're willing to spend $80 for 4 people or 5 people to eat or whatever, you just do it. You get a bunch of junky food. It tastes good in the moment, and then I just regret it an hour later. Always. Like, why did I pay all that money for that food when I could have just made something healthy and good? So I ended up making stuff, throwing together just a pasta dish with some homemade red sauce and some broccoli and some chickpeas that I had. Some mini, I forget what they're called, but they're tiny chickpeas that came from Rancho Gordo Bean Club. And so I made a little chickpea salad with olives in it and had all that stuff. It was pretty good.
Good. That sounds nice.
Yeah. It was nice. What about you? You have any good dinner?
We had so Tuesday night, we had a great dinner of burritos. And last night, we were kind of scrambling last minute. Also considered takeout. Didn't know what to do, but we had some leftover burrito fixings, so we just made them a little bit better. Soup them up a little bit, and it had burritos again. So 2 nights in a row, burritos, and chances are I'm going to go to the taco shop tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Full on Tex-Mex weekend.
Yeah. Wow. That's a ton of Tex-Mex food, but I guess that's what you do and you're used to it and you like it. So
yeah, and honestly, I mean, I was thinking last night, or actually this morning, as I was reading one of the articles, I was thinking about what I ate yesterday, and I mean, it was all very healthy. I mean, like brown rice, bunch of vegetables, black beans,
yeah,
corn tortillas,
however you need to do it. You just go on eating whole foods and not UPF, ultra processed food, and you'll be all right. That's what I think. Doug, there's a bunch of people on Instagram today for some reason, more than usual, because usually that channel is not not where we get people. Can you put up that link? Because if you are on Instagram, oh, you did? I don't see it. If you're on Instagram, go to youtube.com/nomadeathlete. It's better quality stuff. I don't see it there, Doug. But if you can,
all right, let me do it again.
Okay. Anyway, hello to everyone who is in the audience. A lot of people already chatting a lot today. Phyllis Hauser, Dale Stevens, Danielle P, Carmen Petty, who says she's putting her life on the line with the bike commute to work, so no chatting.
Oh,
that's for me. So I'm glad that you are not chatting while you do such a harrowing activity as riding a bike. I would recommend you ditch that habit. That's not a safe thing to do. Ride bikes to work. Definitely not as a matter of routine where you're doing it every day. You will end up in the hospital.
Come on.
No, you will. It's a certainty you'll end up in the hospital if you keep doing that. So don't do it.
I did it for years in DC and came out unscathed. Just a few flat tires.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess your chances of going to the hospital accident, maybe they go down in the city compared to out faster, higher speeds. I don't really know, but more likely to have a fender bender.
Well,
anyway,
ride safely, Carmen, but you do you.
Yeah.
Keep those cars off.
Whatever you want. Mr. Jeffrey, Anne-Marie, Kelly K, Jeff Hudnall, who when I put the shirt on today, I thought of Jeff Hudnall because he ran this race not last year, a few years ago, and met me there. That was cool. River Cat Kate, good morning. Dale Stevens says going out to eat just doesn't taste as good anymore most of the time. Yeah, I still like going out. It's just the takeout. It's just such a, I don't know. I feel so lazy and bad about myself when I get takeout.
You know what takeout, like the other side of takeout is that it's never as good as if you had eaten in the restaurant because it's always a little bit soggy or whatever. It never comes out quite as good. So not only are you paying just as much and you're having to pick it up and do all the stuff, but it just never is as satisfying as if you had eaten at the restaurant.
Yeah. Right. And you're often paying more if you're getting delivery.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Yeah, you miss out on a lot of that value add if you get it yourself. Okay, I hope I didn't leave it right. Steven's here as he has been recently often, which is nice. Let's see. Sarah Slemp, Dale Stevens, Jeff Hudnall. Yeah, no, I'm not running the race on Sunday, Jeff. Sorry, I just never signed up. I don't know why. I gotta get myself back into my weightlifting routine, which I'm getting back into, but I gotta feel better about myself before I can do that. Okay, so that's it. Sorry, someone's texting me. Okay, Doug, what are you doing tonight for Thursday? You're doing the taco thing, right?
Yeah, the band is officially getting back together for the first time in several weeks today. So we have practice and then going out to dinner afterwards. I'm not sure where, but we tend to go to the taco spot. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did that.
The fellow band members, are they also like big time Tex-Mex, eat all the time at home? Or are they just, this is their one time?
No, I think they're just like, hey, it's taco night.
Right. Like a normal person. They just have tacos once a week at most. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well,
hey, so I got something fun.
Yeah.
If you were at if you listened to yesterday's episode, which if you are a podcast listener and you haven't heard yet, well, I guess you maybe have heard it now. Anyway, we were talking about a marketing campaign, a plant-based marketing campaign that was collaborative between multiple different brands, something similar to the Got Milk campaign by the dairy industry or the beef industry's Beef It's What's for Dinner.
Which in theory is happening. They seem to have banded together and they're looking for a common approach.
Well, I turned to the good old ChatGPT 4 for some recommendations after having a lot of fun doing that.
So you're a paid subscriber.
You will compliments paid subscriber.
Right, exactly. Lovecompliment.com sponsors the show.
That's right. Help buy those products so we can keep affording ChatGPT.
Yeah, so we can keep supporting the development of AI.
Yeah, but there were some funny ones here. I asked for 30 recommendations, similar to Got Milk or Beef It's What for Dinner, and so I thought I'd share a couple of them. I'll share the rest of them in the Discord later and get some feedback here. But let's see what you think.
Okay.
Some of them are really bad, and some of them are okay. Green is the new black. I'm gonna give that a down. Right?
Yeah, it's
thumb down.
It's funny, but yeah, not a lot of depth there, I don't think.
Eat green, live clean.
Boring. There's many blogs called that.
Leaf the meat, take the green.
Yeah. Wow, that's good for ChatGPT to make that little leap there.
Yeah. Root, ROOT for plants.
Okay, so here's the problem. The campaign is just coming up with little puns. I don't need puns. I need something with depth that tells me like why I shouldn't eat meat or something.
Bite into better. That's okay. That says something, right?
Yeah,
bite into better.
It's a good little catchy name.
Food that loves you back.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, I mean, animals would love you back too if they were alive.
Veggies, the real comfort food. That one's kind of interesting.
False.
It is wrong, but it is. Chew the right thing.
Is that like choose the right thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say none of these were all that good. I kind of like I kind of like the food that loves you back part. That one.
Yeah, that's kind of good. So I think a good. What are the people who are expert AI users what are they like? What's their name? Like a prompt writer or a?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. What are they? I think the next step would be to. And this, I mean, I find you get better results when you tell it, okay, take what you just did and improve it in this way. Like, give me some more depth. Like, let's talk about the big reasons not to eat meat and to eat plants, and now make the names all related to those rather than silly puns. But good. I'm glad to hear you did that. I actually also used ChatGPT yesterday for the purposes of summarizing some articles. And then Seth Godin happened to send an email out today that said he did the same thing. And he said, here's a good use for this technology that we all kind of, like to laugh at the mistakes of and everything. But yeah, I mean, if there's 1,000-word article and you say, give me a 100-word summary of it so that I can then put that into a book proposal, that's a good use for it. Or just so that you can understand
it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good for summary, or exactly, for like dumbing it down a little bit is good.
Or smartening up. I said, tell me this more like I'm more intelligent. Give this to me like I'm a super genius.
Oh yeah, there you go. I wonder what it would do to that.
I don't know. That's funny. I don't think it would be very good at that. No, I guess. Yeah, I've had ChatGPT do some strange responses to things in trying for this book proposal that we are working on. I've been working on for a month, and I have in the early days I was trying to use it a whole lot and thinking like this thing might be able to write the whole proposal. And I would say basically take this information and expand this into about 1,000 words instead of 100, and talk a lot. And it started writing like fiction stories about mystery solving detectives, crazy stuff. It was just bizarre what it decided to do with what I gave it.
You should have submitted that and see see how it goes.
If I got a fiction deal,
yeah. Could have been cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that's AI. Interesting stuff. It's definitely. I mean, I don't know. It was supposed to change the world, and I feel like the world is still not that different from how it was.
I mean, it's still pretty early.
Yeah, of course it is. But it seemed like in the span of 2 weeks, it was like, oh my God, this is taking over the world. Look at all these use cases that it is doing. And now it's just not that good at all. But yeah, I think it will be eventually. We will all eventually be replaced by it, is my belief. So let's enjoy the time until then. And then destroyed by it after that, probably.
Yep.
All right. Anything else before we jump into weather report today?
I don't think so. I'm trying to. What was the one that I had picked here? Because I was about to use it. Now I can't even remember it.
What, your best
campaign? The food that loves you back, right? Is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So tell me, what's the weather report for the food that loves you back?
Okay, here we go. Plant-based morning show. Food that loves you back. Weather report. Bill Gates, Microsoft founder, for those who don't know, has once again
enemy of the right.
Is that? I guess he is that, right?
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
He has once again said that plant-based meats are the future. Oh, plant-based food is the future, but apparently also he likes the plant-based meat. I think he's invested in a bunch. He has a podcast, Unconfuse Me. He had Questlove on the podcast. I don't know who Questlove is.
You don't know who Questlove is?
Don't at all.
From the Roots, the drummer. You're a drummer.
Yeah. I thought it was that guy. Who was that basketball player who changed his name and made it like World Peace? I don't know. Some basketball player made his last name World Peace, and it was silly. I thought it was him.
As a drummer, I'm surprised you don't know who Questlove is.
Is it real music or is it like electronic beats and stuff like that?
No, he's like probably one of the top 5 living drummers, most influential drummers.
Wow,
from the Roots.
Interesting. I couldn't name a Roots song if you played me one. I mean, I wouldn't know it was the Roots. I've never heard of a Roots song. But that's just me. Anyway, so they talked about how he believed. So Questlove said he believes plant-based foods will be the future. Gates said it's cool that it gets rid of the animal cruelty, but also it's a big climate thing. As if this is, this is like we could have had this conversation 20 years ago, and maybe that would have been interesting. Anyway, I don't know why this is news, but mainly I wanted to include Bill Gates in the news because Aisha tipped me off to a little story going on and said, "Are you guys going to talk about this?" And so I don't know what side of the aisle Aisha is on, but this seems sort of conspiracy theoretical here. there's a meat allergy which I think is alpha-gal syndrome that makes you allergic to just about everything. I mean, I'm really saying what wrong here, but my interpretation is it makes you allergic to a ton of things, especially meat, including meat, red meat in particular, and that is getting its incidence is increasing, and I think there's like 450,000 people who now are infected with it. I don't know if infected is the right word, affected by it. Anyway, the claim was that this increased incidence of alpha-gal was due to tick spit, and that was connected to a project funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that involves genetically modifying cattle ticks, which ostensibly that program is to make the ticks bite less, or be less of a pest and less of a problem for cattle farmers. I don't know why they're trying to help the cattle farmers, but maybe they're trying to somehow make it less environmentally taxing industry. I don't know. So anyway, the idea was they were actually genetically modifying these ticks to make them bite people and then make those people allergic to meat so that people have to stop eating red meat.
That's the claim.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the real thing, Doug. We don't know. That's the claim. So Aisha said, are you guys going to cover this? Like,
that would be honestly, that'd be a pretty smart, like if you had an agenda to turn everybody
right. That'd be like a movie plot if that,
totally.
If that was working.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I'm not saying they did that. I highly doubt they did, and especially because the AP, has debunked it. I wouldn't doubt that people are thinking that way. Certainly, there are people who are extremely passionate about, and more maybe for animal cruelty than the climate. I don't know, who probably are coming up with schemes like that and thinking this is a great thing to do. I could find a way to get everyone so they can eat meat. I don't know. Maybe it's happening somewhere. But I don't think Bill and Melinda Gates are doing it. Apparently, AP has said that there's a lot of reasons why that program does entirely different things, works on entirely different ticks, something. So I didn't read all the debunking. I just assumed that it is false. But I don't know. Thought it was kind of funny that
it is kind of funny.
It's being
the conspiracy theories around Bill Gates are pretty wild.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, we don't need to go into all those, but this one makes me laugh. It makes me, it's kind of an interesting thought experiment to think about. What if we had a way to prevent everybody from eating meat by making everybody allergic to it, right? And that would significantly reduce climate change. That would save the world, right?
Yeah, right.
Like at what point would a government decide that is the right move to do? I mean, that's definitely a movie plot. It has to be a movie plot.
Right. It's like a bioterrorism. Like if we come up with a little virus that just makes people, once you get that, you can't, you get sick for a little while and then you're better. And then once you're better, you just can't eat meat anymore. That's just one of the lasting impacts. I don't know. I think if it fills the pockets of whoever's making decisions, they might go for it. Be my guess. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that's for the movies.
Ticks are one of my biggest fears.
Oh, yeah?
Life. Yeah.
Ticks are definitely gross to look at and have on you. That's for sure.
I mean, I'm worried about the what happens after I get bit by a tick. Lyme's disease.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is something to be concerned about. Yeah. All right, moving on. This one's boring. ProVeg, together with Good Food Institute, have approached German politicians to support the VAT debate. That's the value-added tax that has flared up again. What they're trying to do is reduce the value-added tax on plant milks to be equal to the value-added tax on animal milk, which would be 7% beginning January 1st, 2024. Previously, there's other politicians are talking about demanding that the VAT be zero for the climate for plant milks, but that seems not realistic right now. So they're kind of backing off. At least these groups are, and they just want it to be equal. That's all they want. They want parity. So anyway, like I said, that's boring. Seemed important enough to include, but I'm not going to get into more details with that.
Great.
And finally, vegan Zeastar, Zeastar. They have launched what they claim to be the world's first king crab meat. And what's interesting about it is that it is actually cheaper than regular normal king crab, where the prices have skyrocketed following a ban on harvesting in Alaska. I grew up eating blue crabs and never really liked king crab that much, or like crab legs. They just never, I thought, were nearly as good. And in fact, they seem like they'd be very easy to improve the taste of with a plant-based alternative. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if this turned out pretty good. There's no shell, of course, which is nice, so it can be handled more easily, and that's, I think, why it's cheaper. So there you go. Vegan seafood continues to happen. I don't know where that's happening. I couldn't find out if it's in the UK, most likely, or all over the place. But I guess I'd be curious to try it. Like I said, it wasn't that good to begin with. I didn't think so. I don't know if I would rush out to get this.
Yeah, I would be interested in trying it. I'm interested in trying any vegan seafood that we can get our hands on.
Yeah, I'm too. It suddenly doesn't seem so weird, right? Like earlier last year we were talking about it, and we were like, this. It's just people seem like they think that's really a gross idea, and it doesn't seem like people think that anymore. At least not us. Those of us who do the show, listen to this, think about this stuff. You just have heard enough that it's just not even that newsworthy. But like I said, slow news day, so made it into our weather report.
Steven says that he thinks it's a Dutch company. And,
yes, it is.
And they have a lot of plant-based fish products in freezers. That's cool.
Ah, okay.
And then Mr. Jeffrey wants to know if they're putting it in an edible shell.
Yeah. Right.
And then Kate's got a jab at your blue crabs. Doesn't all blue crab taste like Old Bay?
Yeah, I think it does. And I think that's why it's pretty easy to make tasty vegan crab cakes, which we had. I really don't think blue crabs are that good. I just think the tradition was always, that's what I liked about it. And back then you thought it was because they were so good, but it wasn't that. Who's putting up a YouTube link? Did anyone click that? I'd like to know.
That was somebody from Twitch. So
okay, did we click it?
I have not clicked it. No,
I don't know how to click it. All right. Let's see. So what else here? We got 2 articles today. One of them serious, one of them fun. First one, this is from medicalnewstoday.com. A diet of ultra-processed foods is linked to a higher depression risk long-term. My mom sent me this one. Spoiler alert, this has to do a lot with the book proposal that I'm talking about. So this is what was very interesting to me. But yeah, ultra-processed food, as we all know, big-time buzzword now. A lot of times it's used as the, rallying cry against plant-based meats and plant-based diets in general. But it's really not just plant-based foods. Although the vegan diet, compared to all the other, popular diets, vegans eat the most ultra-processed food of anybody.
Oh, really?
So, yep. I don't know about compared to a standard American diet. I kind of imagine that anyone conscious enough about their diet to call themselves vegan probably eats a little healthier foods than standard American diet does, and maybe less UPF. But compared to paleo, keto, the other big ones, vegans are the winners when it comes to the most UPF consumed. So that's a pretty bad thing. But, all the vegan cheeses, milks, plant milks, these things are mostly ultra-processed food. By the way, the definition Medical News Today uses for ultra-processed foods is, they say ultra-processed foods are manufactured foods typically containing 5 or more ingredients. They're optimized for flavor and an extended shelf life rather than for nutrition. That's kind of the important part, is they are, the way they are made is so that you consume as many as possible, as many calories get consumed as possible, which part of that is having an extended shelf life. Part of that is overriding your body's systems, all that stuff. But they're profit driven decisions. That more than nutrition. As a result, they contain sweeteners, preservatives, emulsifiers, artificial colors, and artificial flavors. And so the distinction here, which they don't point out, is like when you make an apple pie at home using, let's say you use real butter even, and white flour and apples and sugar, that's not ultra processed food. That's just processed. And this is not talking about processed food. This is talking about ultra processed, which is all those high tech kind of strange ingredients that aren't really even foods, but have become part of food. So anyway, we sort of knew this already, but it's a new study new study from Australia whose results are in Journal of Affective Disorders. And what they have found is that there was basically a linear relationship between the amount of ultra processed food consumed and the risk for depression, which is a little interesting because we have talked before, I think it was last year, about how plant-based diets were kind of being blamed, or at least associated with higher incidence of anxiety. I don't know if depression was included in there, but anxiety and depression are basically 2 sides of the same coin when it comes to that psychology stuff. So could the reason the plant-based diets have this higher anxiety risk, which we came up with a lot of other reasons for why it might be association. Perhaps people prone to anxiety tend to become vegan vegetarians rather than the opposite. But if we are consuming most of the processed food or more ultra processed food than others, perhaps that's could explain part of the vegan increase in anxiety.
So the article says that the association between ultra-processed food and subsequent depression was unaffected by sex, age, or body mass index. Mm-hmm. It also persisted regardless of marital status, the number of people a person lives with, and their level of physical activity. But the notable thing here, which I think it's pretty well accepted, that there is a link between depression and income levels because based on stress. The notable exception here is that I couldn't find anything about income. And, there's also, I believe, and this, I don't know if this is universally accepted, but my perception is that due to food access and things like that, that lower income people in a lower income status often tend to gravitate towards ultra processed foods because they don't have access to the whole foods, or they might be more expensive. And so I'm curious if that is somehow linked here and just not considered in the study.
Yeah, interesting that they didn't control for that one when they mentioned all the other things there. But that's a very good point, and very likely could be behind it. They also mentioned the same kind of correlation causation issue here, as I mentioned with the vegan thing. They didn't test at the outset. They didn't include anyone who had, I guess, depressive symptoms or something at the beginning. They eliminated those people, but they didn't use, I think it's called a Kessler psychological distress scale. They used that at the end after 13 or 17 years of they followed up after that long, and that's where they got these results from. They didn't apply that Kessler scale at the beginning of the period. So although they eliminated people who they found were already depressed, they didn't have a quantitative number for, I guess, how distressed somebody was. And because of that, they can't establish causation. They can only establish correlation here, which means it is possible that people who are depressed, and this is not that different from what you were saying, but a little bit different, the people who are depressed tend to choose the ultra processed foods, which certainly would be the case, that you go to that stuff when a bunch of other things feel out of your control, or you don't have a lot of willpower, and you just go indulge in whatever Oreos. So who knows what's really going on, but this is not the first time, as I said, that this has been established that ultra processed food does appear to cause mental health problems. I think there's a lot of research about children, especially who have behavioral issues when they eat a lot of UPF, which unfortunately a lot of them do. They mention here in the study that Australia, where this was done, 40% of the calories consumed on average by people are UPF. That's really high. But apparently in countries like the US, it's closer to 50%. So that's awful.
It's awful.
I mean, it's just terrible, and huge part of why we are unhealthy and unhappy, in my opinion, and in this new book's opinion that I'm working on.
All right. Can't wait to read it.
Well, you'll have to wait because it's going to be a long time. It'll probably be 2 years till it comes out.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Less serious. Actually, it's not a less serious note. It's a little more fun to talk about, maybe, or speculate about, or whatever. But it's from The Gothamist, which is Gotham. That's Gotham City's where Batman's from, right?
Yeah, it's Manhattan, I think, is Gotham City.
It really is called that in real life, or is it just named after Batman, no. Which is... So Batman has a Manhattan-like area, and they call it Gotham City. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's only from Batman, but it's supposed to be Manhattan. I think. I don't actually know. Now I'm questioning that. I'm looking that up, but
yeah. So anyway, The Gothamist appears to be a publication for New Yorkers. It's a nonprofit. The headline is Mayor Adams follows a plant-based diet that he talks about all the time, so I tried it. This is not that new. It came out 2 weeks ago. But
I'm gonna throw this out for anybody watching on YouTube.
Okay. So the idea here is a New Yorker sees Mayor Adams talking about this diet all the time, apparently posting to his Instagram his recipes and things like that. And this person, as part of this this column that they do here, they just try things. They try novel or trendy experiences in New York, so you can decide if you want to. And unfortunately, if you were trying to decide that about veganism and you read this column, you would not be trying it, which is really the thing I am eager to discuss. So the thing is, Mayor Adams doesn't just eat like a vegan diet, replete with ultra processed food sometimes and all this other stuff. I guess he does occasionally have indulgences, but he like they mentioned here, one of his a recent vegan pasta dish, and they quoted that vegan pasta dish shared on his Instagram, an enormous lump of beige that involves layering black beans, sweet potato, and mushroom onto a bowl of vegan spaghetti with no oil. And that doesn't sound very good at all. And
no,
that's, I have a sense that a lot of people who eat like the whole food plant-based diet espoused in Forks Over Knives, that's the food they eat all the time. They eat that kind of stuff. And they sort of throw out, traditional, typical, like culinary best practices and just put a bunch of vegetables together and maybe eat. Actually, I don't even know if they would eat pasta like this in a Forks Over Knives diet. But the point is, it doesn't seem there's a lot of cooking skill going into that recipe. It's just someone said, I want those ingredients.
Or flavor, other than the ingredients themselves.
Right. So they just you combine ingredients. You probably don't add salt. I don't really know. But this food's tough to just start liking if you just jump into it, and especially if you say that's what a vegan diet is. That's not the way to make a vegan diet stick, in my opinion. So anyway, this person talked about that. They did 4 days, and on the 4th day they failed. The headers in the article are the most stressful grocery trip of my life, in which they spent $48 at Trader Joe's to get several days worth of groceries. That's in New York. That sounds like pretty good value.
I know. I read that and I was thinking, man, that's great. 7 days.
Several days.
Yeah,
so probably days. At least 4, because they had 4 days here. $10 a day for a person in New York. That's pretty cheap.
Enough for a dozen meals. So
yeah, okay. 4 days. So that's not bad. The shopping list, though, they said boiled down to an assemblage, I don't know, of produce. Think lots of sweet potato and berries. I mean, that's weird to begin with. Lots of sweet potato. And a handful of grocery items I'd never heard of or seen. Think arrowroot and moringa powder. Arrowroot, not that weird. It's basically like cornstarch, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Moringa, though, that's one of these newfangled smoothie things. Yeah.
So anyway. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with anybody who's talking about like how difficult he talks about how he had to get three different times in order to do this grocery shop. I mean, the problem with that is that, like, of course, anytime you switch diets and look for different foods, like every Thanksgiving, if I'm going to bake something and I'm looking, it takes me forever to find the ingredients that I need. Like,
if my wife gives me a shopping list and I have to go get the stuff she usually would go find in the baking aisle or whatever, I have to get help with that. Or I call her all the time. Yeah.
It shouldn't be considered. That shouldn't ever be considered when you're talking about a diet, because you just go one time and you figure out where it is, and then you don't have to worry about it again. So, yeah.
Okay. So that's sort of unfair, but the way the person jumped in is I mean, this whole thing is just, I don't know if unfair is the reason, because I don't think they tried to make it unfair. They just attempted the impossible, basically. So day 1, they had this pasta. Their grandmother objected to it because it had black beans with pasta, and that wasn't good. They used a magic bullet, blended up a bunch of stuff: apple, berries, banana. I don't know. Made soups with the blender. Took a picture of their soup disaster all over the counter, which has nothing to do with the vegan diet. It has to do with trying to make a soup in a magic bullet. It doesn't matter if you put chicken or whatever in there; you still would have that mess. Taco salad, Doug. That doesn't look like taco salad. I don't think would be served in the Hay household.
No, definitely not.
It's like kale leaves that have zero treatment done to them, so they're just raw and not massaged or anything. I don't know what the stuff is on top. And then day 3, oats, and more oats. So the person is having lots of bowls of oatmeal, gets sick of it. And then on day 4, finally ready to, I guess they're still trying, but then finally they inhaled at 2 p.m. 3 salmon avocado rolls, and it tasted just as decadent as a $42 bronzino from an upscale Italian restaurant in Midtown. I don't know what a bronzino is. Steak or something?
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so they made 80 hours and then they bailed. Yep. And so here's what to know. It's really restrictive. they do point out that vegan food can be delicious, but the restrictions the mayor touts in his memoir/cookbook felt extreme even by usual vegan standards. Yeah, I think that's very true. It kept things simple in a good way. The person ate more fruits and vegetables than they normally do all week, so that's cool. They enjoyed the simplicity of most of the meals, which could be blended, sautéed, or microwaved. But see, that's part of the problem, is that the meals were so simple. There was no cooking, or wasn't very much cooking. It was just kind of blending or microwaving, I guess sautéing too. But that's not so good. And despite how healthy everything was, they didn't feel better. In 3.5 days of eating, in 80 hours, they didn't feel better.
Imagine that.
Believe it. Yeah. They dropped 1.5 pounds though. So that was, I guess, good. I don't know. So anyway, they were sluggish and tired most days and felt themselves getting irritable around others, which unfortunately is going to happen with a lot of diets. Maybe not everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just hungry because you're not eating the same amount of calories that you were before, and I don't know. Yeah, this is a very poor experiment, poorly done, and I hope no one reads it and thinks, "Oh, I'm not going to try a vegan diet."
Right, and so the thing is, I'm not so concerned about people reading this article and thinking that. I just think, how many people in the world see someone like Mayor Adams do this, or any other influencer, right? Who they see and admire or whatever, and they say, "I'm going to try that," and they think this is what a vegan diet is, right? And they think, well, if you want to eat climate friendly and animal friendly and healthy for your body, you need to eat like this. And they just don't understand. It's the same type of people who would say they don't realize pasta is vegan, or whatever else. And it's just sort of like, vegan must mean extremely restrictive, even among plant foods diet. And I don't know. It doesn't give me a lot of hope here if that's what people think is vegan.
Yeah.
We were just talking about
especially
food.
Especially from someone who's trying to make change, right? Who's making, not trying to make change, but actually implementing things like no meat Fridays at schools and changes in the hospital food system. And so if they think, all right, I'm going to get a super dry pasta that has no flavor and no oil, like, of course they're going to push back against that.
Yeah. So what do we do though? I mean, because we were just talking about the ultra processed food and how vegans eat a lot of it. Well, this isn't any ultra processed food. This is it's so restrictive that I think it's not even the healthiest vegan choices you can make. Because to me, you don't get a lot of calories if you don't put oil in things. And there are a few other things that I think are, I don't know, salt. I'm guessing there's not much salt here, and I don't think salt is unhealthy if you use it at home. Anyway, should Mayor Adams be eating more junk food and sharing that in his book, or just kind of more regular? Like, should he not be eating so carefully? Because I think for a lot of people, this sort of diet, when they make it work, that forks over knives diet, and
it really does make you feel better. Yeah,
it makes a huge difference for them eventually, and it turns around their health. So, I don't know. It's like we want the best of everything here. We want everyone to eat healthy and not ultra processed food.
Right.
Don't put up a fake vegan diet that's full of junk. But we also don't want them to do this, because then it looks impossible to do. And it is if you try it. If you just jump in, and try this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great question.
So what do we want? We want everyone to be vegan for 10 years so that they can sort of figure out the good balance of it and then eat that diet.
I guess. I don't know. That's a great question. Do you not want him to promote the healthiest version of the diet?
No, I mean, of course you do. And you want some people promoting those practical, and some people promoting the total junk foods. You can see that there's a lot of facets, and you can pick the one you want. But I don't know. It didn't leave me with a lot of hope. That's the thing. I was thinking about these things as I put this article, or looked at this article, and I thought, what do we want? How are we really going to get people to eat this way? I don't know. I think we're failing. I think our whole movement is going with the plant-based meats.
You think it's all because of the plant-based meats that were ruined? Is that what you think?
I think that has started it. Yep. I think that brought it all to a head. I don't know. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what we do. Does the audience have any suggestions? How do we get people to eat? Bronzino's a nasty looking fish, head, eyeballs, and all when cooked. Okay. Well, compared to that, vegan seems all right. Anne Marie said I had taco pasta for lunch and Indian chili for dinner, and it was good. Not all SOS WFPB is tasteless. I don't know. It's. I agree, it's not tasteless to you, but someone who goes vegan and they just start eating that, no salt, oil, or sugar, taco pasta and chili, they're gonna say, I think they're gonna say, this is not as good as my bronzino that I enjoy. So I don't know. I do not know. And like I said, I think when you eat away a certain amount of time, you get used to it, and it does truly taste good and good for you. But when someone's new, what are they supposed to do? I don't know. So no other solutions from the audience. Okay, LRG, this is good. I'm just gonna say it. If they aren't doing it for the animals, it will never work, in my opinion. I went vegan 27 years ago after meeting a really cool pet cow. I never looked back. And I think that's a really important point. If you don't have a motivator why you want to make a diet like this work, or not necessarily like Mayor Adams, but to put in the effort to find the thing that works for you. And what I mean by putting the effort isn't search around for the right influencer, but like try it and then try a different way and then try it and stick with it for years because you have a reason to stick with it. And then eventually get to the point where it's quite comfortable and delicious. The point where Anne Marie is at, where I am at, or Doug, where you are at with your Tex-Mex thing.
I'm a Tex-Mex vegan. What can I say?
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said at the beginning of the show, however it works for you is great for everyone. But yeah, I don't know and it always seems to me that the people who have the ethical motivation are the ones who with ethical meaning animal don't want to eat animals, basically for the animals' sake. To me, that's who ends up weathering all the storms and lasting. I don't know if the climate people will last like that. Hopefully. But I don't think the health people do, typically.
Yeah. Unless you've had like a really big health scare. Right.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Then that does happen. Anne Marie says she made the taco pasta for standard American diet eaters, and they liked it. You have to pick the meals that are similar to what they might eat. What they say in the car on the way home, though, about Anne Marie's taco salad. They were like, oh my God.
They liked it. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding, Anne Marie. I know. I'm sure you made good food.
She does. I've had it.
Yeah,
delicious.
There you go. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I don't know how to conclude. It's. I don't have an answer, unless you can be motivated by animals. Then maybe that's your answer.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. That's it for the week. We're done.
Hey, can I give a quick shout out?
Yeah, to one of your relatives?
No.
No?
To our buddy Sid Garza-Hillman.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What's Sid doing?
Sid has a new book that's coming out. It's not actually being released till February, but it just went up on Amazon and all the places, called Ultra Running for Normal People. And it's
that's cool.
It's a guide for how to approach your first 50K, 50-mile ultra marathon. But it's not like a training guide. So there's no like training program or anything like that. It's just kind of how to like approach the mindset of it and approach training and fit what most training plans would look like into someone who has a normal life with kids and a job and stuff. Nice. It's really good. I got to read it and I gave a little quote for it, which is great. And I'm really excited about it. So check it out. It's called Ultra Running for Normal People by our friend Sid Garza-Hillman.
Good. We should have Sid on the show to promote it, which we don't usually do. We don't usually get the people who are out promoting books, but Sid would be fun. He's an exception. He's a friend. So maybe he'll want to come on when this book comes out. That reminds me, and I'm sure, by the way, that sounds like a perfect Sid Garza-Hillman topic and book. I think that he would do a great job with that. So I have no doubt that it's good. I have a similar shout out, not quite similar, but I meant to say it yesterday and forgot. The Blue Zones show came out on Netflix yesterday. And
did it?
Yep.
Have you watched it?
5 episodes. Yep. I watched 4 of them last night. Didn't really watch them. I was playing Zelda, but I had it on. My mom was watching it. And I stayed up late playing Zelda and just let it keep running. So I listened to 4 episodes. So I need to go actually really watch it because I am excited about the show. So it's good. I guess there's 4 episodes. Yeah, maybe I watched 3 of them and not 4.
Awesome. You know, he was on No Mean Athlete Radio yesterday.
He was just on No Mean Athlete Radio. Yeah, Dan Buettner.
That's right.
which is his second appearance. He was on a long time ago with both of us, Doug, or just me? I forget.
Yeah, with both of us. I think that was after his Blue Zones of Happiness release,
yes, that was his
right?
happiness book. Yep. So anyway, this weekend, that could be a good watch for you if you want something inspiring. I found that it was like, I mean, if you've read the book, you know everything in the show, but to get to see the people and see, you know, the houses, and because so much of the book is these stories about him going into, you know, the person's living room in Okinawa and how they have no furniture that, you know, doesn't require you to get down on the floor for. So to see that happening and see these people who are over 100 or near 100 doing this stuff is very cool and inspiring. So it adds a nice dimension that the book, you know, can't do. So anyway, check it out. It's called, I don't know what it's called. Blue Zones. It came right up on my Netflix as my
the Blue Zones Way, I think.
Maybe the Blue Zones Way. Okay. I
think so.
Good. Yeah. Watch it this weekend.
Awesome. That's great.
I think it's called Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones.
Yeah. What is it called?
Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones.
Oh, so not the Blue Zones Way.
Not the Blue Zones Way.
I think maybe that's a new book he has coming out too.
Ah, okay. Maybe.
That's something.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Anything else, or should we leave it there? Put a pin in it, as they say, I think, in the business, or put this one in the can.
Yeah, let's just stop here, and we'll see everybody. I hope everyone in the United States anyway has a wonderful long weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Is there anyone supposed to make sure that we appreciate the reason for the season on Monday, Doug? Just the laborers, the people out there working.
Yeah, it's day to celebrate me,
which is ourselves,
not
right?
you. We don't celebrate you. You're the boss, right? So celebrate me.
Well, I think my family should celebrate me. I'm the one who goes and earns money.
Yeah, maybe.
So anyone who works, anyone who earns a paycheck, or I guess volunteers. Yeah. What about like students? They work. Does that count?
I don't think so. Hey, another shout out. This one is personal. Tomorrow is my 10-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And so, Katie, I love you. Thank you for everything.
Very nice. Congratulations. That's exciting. 10 years is amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know how many marriages get that far, but not too many. You have big plans? Going to the
lake? No. Her best friend's coming to town tomorrow, so so she's kind of celebrating with her best friend, but we have a weekend planned in next month.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, happy anniversary tomorrow, Doug and Katie, and that's it. We'll leave it there. We'll be back on Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Yep.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.